Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you the quickest and most effective way to improve your English speaking skills by yourself. You do not need anybody else, just yourself. Now, if you clicked on this video, probably you've been thinking, I have learned so many words in English. I need to begin speaking the language. But the question is, how am I going to do this? Now, you clicked on the right video because I'm going to teach you the quickest and most effective way to improve your spoken English all by yourself. Now, you're wondering, what is this method? And the method is called listening and imitation. Listening and imitation. I'm going to explain to you what I mean. Imitation is repeating. When you imitate someone, it means that you copy them. And listening, you already know. So the method is called imitation and listening. I'm going to give you a very small example of why this method is so effective. When a baby is born, they can't speak. But one day, they begin talking. How do they do this? They do this through listening and imitation. And what I mean is that the baby is surrounded by people who are speaking a specific language. The mom, the dad, family members, family friends, other children, and so on. And as these people speak to the baby doesn't speak back, but they listen. Every time you speak to the baby, they listen to you, but they don't speak back. But one day, they begin talking. And what do they begin talking? They begin imitating what you're saying. And how do they do this? By listening. Over a period of time, they have been listening to the people who've been talking to the baby or around the baby. And one day, they begin to say, Baba, Mama. Where do they get this vocabulary from? They get this vocabulary from the mom and from the dad and from the people who surround the baby. So in other words, a baby first listens, and they listen over a period of time, and they store this data unconsciously in their brain, and one day they begin reproducing this data in the form of words. And as time goes by, they begin talking. They begin speaking. Okay? Now, this is exactly the same principle that you are supposed to use. It is very quick and effective in helping you improve your English speaking skills all by yourself. So, at this point, you're asking yourself, how do I actually do it? The first thing that I would recommend you to do is to listen to different English audio materials. The first one is the radio. Whenever you have the chance, listen to the radio. You don't have to necessarily listen for any particular reason. Just have the radio playing in the background at different times during the day. Okay? What happens is your brain unconsciously starts connecting with the content that is being spoken through the radio, and you begin to store some words, but also you begin to store information about how to pronounce some English words and the tone and the tempo that you need to be able to speak English. Okay? So, listen to the radio. And as you listen to the radio from time to time, try and imitate the speakers. Okay? Just try and repeat what they say from time to time. This will help you to develop a tempo, but also it will help you to loosen your tongue to be able to speak English. And at first, it might not be very fluent what you say, just like a baby. But with time, as you continue listening and repeating, you become quite fluent. The next thing I would recommend is listen to audiobooks. There are so many audiobooks online. Okay? You could download these books. Okay? Listen to the audiobooks, and once more, try and imitate what they say. The advantage you have with an audiobook is that you can actually pause and repeat what they say. And once more, at the beginning, you might not be so fluent, but as time goes by, you find yourself speaking very fluently. And if I were you, I would play a specific paragraph several times and keep repeating after the speaker. And trust me, after some time, you will become quite fluent. The next thing I would recommend is listening to the television. Remember, I said listening, not watching. Okay? So, how do you do this? Play the television, just turn the television on, and don't look at the images. Instead, just have the television playing in the background as you're doing other things. This will help you to develop some vocabulary, but also it will help you to develop the tempo on how to develop your English when you're speaking, okay? The speed with which you speak the language. That is what we call the tempo, okay? So, the disadvantage of watching television is that when you start looking at the images, you get distracted by the images and your brain concentrates on looking at the images instead of what the people are saying. And the disadvantage of that is that sometimes you're tempted to turn on the subtitles. And then what you're doing then is improving your reading skills in English and not speaking. That's why it's really useful. Just turn the television on and do other things in the background, and your brain unconsciously will start to store the data from what is being spoken, and with time, just like a baby, your brain will start reproducing that data through your mouth. So listen and repeat what they're saying. Imitation. Remember, we said the method is called listening and imitation. The next thing I would recommend you to do to apply this method is to listen to native speakers speaking, okay? Listen to native speakers. If you're sitting in the train, if you're sitting in the bus, secretly listen to what they're saying and whisper to yourself by repeating what they're saying, okay? Repeat what they're saying. There are thousands of YouTube videos where native English speakers are having an actual discussion, okay? And the advantage of that is you can actually pause and repeat what they're saying, okay? And at the beginning, you might not be so fluent, you might not be able to understand everything that they say, but you will be able to pick up some sentences that you understand. The next thing that I would recommend is listening and reading. What do I mean? What I mean is that you have to read a piece of text aloud in English. Pick up an English book that you like, or any English material. Maybe it's a newspaper article, maybe it's a magazine. Read a paragraph, not silently, but aloud. Read aloud, okay? This is extremely, extremely important. Read the sentences aloud and repeat the sentences several times. Because what happens is most students who are learning English read the books silently. And what you're doing, while that is fantastic, you're developing your reading skills and not your speaking skills. So when you're reading a book, read the sentences aloud. That will help you to loosen up your tongue. When you're speaking English, it will help you to loosen up your tongue, okay? And it will make it possible for you to develop a speed and a tempo to speak English. Now, the next thing that you could do while you're reading the paragraph is read a simple paragraph, okay? Where you pretty much understand every word. And then, okay, so read it aloud and then try to explain to an imaginary friend what the paragraph is talking about. And try and use the words in the paragraph. Okay? So read a paragraph of your favorite book or magazine or text, whatever it is. Read it aloud several times, and then after that, while looking at that particular paragraph, start explaining to an imaginary friend what that particular paragraph is talking about, and try and use the words and the vocabulary in that particular text. Okay? Now, I hope that you find this content really useful in helping you to improve your English speaking skills as soon as possible by yourself. Okay? Remember, the method is pretty simple: listening and imitation. Now, thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to put the question in the comment section. Thank you very much, and see you next lesson. Bye bye.